Great. Let's have the next board meeting for Monday, November 18th, 2024 to order. Please join me in silent prayer and meditation. Great. Thank you. Please join me in a pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call, please.
Mayor Gaffino.
Here.
Trustee Christensen.
Here.
Trustee Curtis. Trustee Gately.
Here.
Trustee Lowry.
Here.
Trustee Nedved.
Here.
Trustee Salazar. Here.
All right. Thank you. Audience comments? None. We'll move on to our audit presentation.
Hey, good evening, everyone. How's it going? My name is Brad Porter, and I'm here on behalf of Lauterbach and Amon as the principal overseeing the village's financial statement audit process. Great to see all of you again. Hard to believe I've been working with the village since we began our partnership back in 2018. Before I go any further, I'd like to give a special thank you to the finance team for all of their efforts as it relates to all things fiscal year 2024 audit. The last few years have been very challenging on some of our clients as it relates to GASB pronouncements, as I'm sure Jason can attest to. But it's always reassuring knowing that when we show up on day one, that the village finance team is going to have everything waiting for us. A seamless line of communication really throughout the entirety of the audit process. And for that, we are very grateful at LNA. My job this evening is to take a 150-page audit document and break it down into a very short presentation. I'll keep it very brief, kind of highlighting some of the intangibles as it relates to our audit process. The first comment I wanted to make, statement on auditing standard number 114 requires us to state whether or not we had any disagreements or difficulties with management throughout our audit process. And I'm happy to report that in the body of our SAS 114 letter, you will find no such disagreements or difficulties noted. Now, it's my understanding everybody has a copy of the audit document. You should see the fancy cover there, and it's titled Your Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. I will highlight just a few pages throughout this document, as I had mentioned, beginning with page 9. On page 9, you should see an award. That is what we call our Certificate of Achievement Award, which is issued by the Government Finance Officers Association and really represents the highest form of financial reporting excellence that any governmental entity can receive. So congratulations on receiving that award once again for May 31st, 2023. And we have worked with the team on the application for the fiscal year 2024 report as well, as they're always reported 1 year in arrears. Then we would not anticipate any hurdles on receiving that award once again for fiscal year 2024. But there is a significant amount of additional time and energy that the finance team contributes in order to meet the compliance checklist requirements of that program. And it's absolutely something that the village should be proud of. Moving on to page 12. As fine and dandy as the award is, I'd like to believe this is the most important page within your audit document. Our job as your auditors is to ensure that we're generating an opinion on the financial statements that are provided to us by your finance team. I'm happy to report that we've issued what is known as an unmodified opinion for the fiscal year ended May 31st, 2024, which is, you're going to notice a trend here, the cleanest form of opinion that you can possibly receive in the government space. Ultimately stating that we as your auditors believe the financial statements are free from material misstatement and that there were sound internal controls in place through the various walkthroughs that we did over cash receipting, cash disbursement, payroll, utility billing, financial reporting, credit cards, you name it. And I think it's quite the accomplishment that within our management letter, we had no internal control weaknesses or recommendations in that document. Moving on to pages 18 through 31. I oftentimes like to point out this section. It's called our management's discussion and analysis, as I think it gives the best narrative overview of the fiscal year. There's a lot of very useful information such as charts, graphs, things that are a little bit easier to understand than the financial statement sometimes. So this section here, if you're going to read, one section or spend a lot of time and energy on one section, I would absolutely encourage it to be here. There is a financial highlight section on the top of page 18 there. I'm just going to quickly gloss through. You're going to notice a trend here. We had increases in all of our main net position and fund balance categories this year. So total net position across all funds was up 5.6%. Total governmental fund balances, 10%. Business type or water sewer net position of 6.8. General fund balance of 4.7. So a good year makes my job a little bit easier to present here tonight. A lot of these were largely attributable to favorable budget to actuals across most of our governmental funds. Now, the third piece of required communication that we issue, as I had alluded to, is what we call our management letter. Again, board's least favorite part of my conversation, but I am happy to report that the body of that letter will show no current recommendations from fiscal year 2024, as I had referenced. The only prior recommendations that you will find in that letter are purely for transparency. They are upcoming accounting pronouncements or existing accounting pronouncements that have since been evaluated. So we like to give you a little bit of a heads up that certain standards are coming down the pipeline that might require a little bit more time and energy out of your team, but we'd like to believe that we've got a good relationship from a training standpoint, making sure that the village is equipped to implement some of those standards. So that concludes my coverage of the fiscal 24 audit. I'm happy to field any questions that you have. And again, thank you very much to the village team for all of their efforts.
Questions? Look good, as expected.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Yep,
you.
Thank you. All right, move on to consent agenda.
To approve.
Second.
Discussion. Roll please.
Trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar. Yes. Trustee Christensen,
Yes.
trustee Curtis.
All right, thank you. Moving on to new business, item 1, Jason.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is actual approval of the audit presentation that you had just received. Just one additional piece of information I wanted to note was our general fund ended our unassigned fund balance at $9 million, which is 67.1% of expenditures and transfers out for debt. As you might know, our policy is 40 to 50%, so we're well above what our policy is on our general fund reserve.
Approve. Second.
Discussion. Roll please.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Christensen.
Yes. All right, thank you. Item 2, Steve.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 2 is a special event permit. Requested is the board might remember, we changed our code a while back. So the only time someone has to come to the board for a special event is if music goes beyond the time of our noise ordinance or if they're blocking Village Road. In this case, they would like to hold a wedding. The name is Tanya Glavich at 1311 Greenbrier Court. They would like to have a tent set up and block off their cul-de-sac. The wedding would go till midnight, but the music would end at 11. Our noise ordinance is 10. So this is on a Saturday night on June 21st of next year. So they're well in advance. They've already talked to their neighbors. They're going to apply for a block party, which in a way constitutes a good way of handling it because they're essentially closing off the cul-de-sac. And to my knowledge, they've been dealing with our business manager, Mike Toth, and I think they already have all the signatures on everybody on the cul-de-sac saying it's okay. So we applauded them for being ahead of the game and turning in their application so early.
Motion to approve.
Second. Discussion. Roll please.
Trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Christensen,
Yes.
trustee Curtis,
Yes.
trustee Gately.
Yes.
All right, thank you. That concludes new business. Village President report. I have nothing. Trustee comments?
I just want to compliment the whole financial staff and their participation in the audit. To have this award year after year after year is really something to be very proud of.
Yep, ditto. Administrator report,
No report tonight. Thank you.
department report.
Thank you, Mayor. Starting this Friday, November 22nd till December 2nd, the department will be participating in IDOT's Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. All overtime used will be reimbursed by the grant we received from the state.
Thank you. Okay, motion adjourned.
Moved.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, we'll be starting committee of the whole shortly.